Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you are doing well. I just finished having an awesome call with Earth Dharma, and I was sitting there and I was just tuning in, and I'm like, I haven't gone on live in a hot minute. And I thought, why not hang out with you guys, do a Q&A, talk about the Leo full moon, and just catch up and get to connect. And I know there's a lot of new faces here. I used to do these lives all the time. I'm actually cozy in my living room right now. Usually I have my Zen space, my healing space. And I just was like, let's have an intimate conversation, hang out and chat. So if you're live here, let me know. If you see the replay, um, let me know. Just say hashtag replay and check in with yourself. See how you're doing. Um, so much to share with you guys. So many updates, but how are you? Let me know in the chat, guys. If this is your first time here, I'm Shika and I'm a medicine woman. My intention is to be and to evoke channeling, healing, connection to the earth and the elements. There's so much, but to connect with souls like yourself. So I wanted to share some updates with you guys. There's so many things happening in my world. First, I want to share, man, this Leo full moon has been so intense. How has it been for you guys? Let me know in the chat. I know for me, it's been deep. Um, it's honestly been deep the past couple months. And it's funny because, you guys see the videos and I've been doing content and stuff. But one of the biggest things I want to share, in full transparency with you guys, there's also been so much being shed and released. And as a Leo moon, this has been a really potent one. A lot of just calling into attachment. That's been the biggest thing that's been coming up for me. And I wonder for you guys, what's been coming up? What's a big theme for you in Leo? Um, Specifically on the evolution of what community means to me here online, but also my real life. And shifting into the space of grieving to opening. I think I mentioned to you guys before, December was a month of grieving for me, a lot of grieving a family member. And with grief, when we learn how to praise grief, we are open with a new beginning. And that's essentially what happened. And I think that's just a great reminder of like when we can praise an ending that has no longer served us, whether it's a human being, a soul transmuting and leaving their physical body, or an ending of a job, or ending of a career, ending of a relationship. It's always an opportunity for us to create more spaciousness in our life, and that there's new values that need to be seated in other places and in all relations of our life. And that's really what the sign, I feel like Leo is sharing this fire inside of us for us to expand emotionally, energetically, physically. Where are we not receiving the ending that's happening in our lives? Where are we rejecting that and feeling like the universe is against us when really it's really supporting us to a higher timeline that we as a collective can't even see? And it's so deep. Your curls are too cute today. We're here twinning. Oh, thanks. This is day 5 here. Like, how long can I keep my curls? It's been going really well. I got a new product and I'm loving my curls. Um, which is a whole other thing. I don't know about anyone else, but for all the curly hair peeps out there, it's been a journey loving my curls. Finally got to a space where I just like get excited to see what they want to create that day. And um, some of you might be able to relate to this. Speaking of this is funny, but like I feel like for a long time, I had a love-hate relationship with my hair based on society's standards of what neat hair is, what acceptable hair is. And for a lot of curly hair beings, that could be a struggle. So, yeah, my hair journey, healing journey has been really potent to be loving how she is, even though I love my braids and I love all the styles. It's just nice to just feel the water and feel the curls and see them. So thank you. Um, Yeah, so that's kind of what the Leo full moon is bringing, the themes that it's bringing. I have a full energy update, so I'm not going to bore you guys with reiterating that. So you can go check that out. And I also just posted a meditation if you guys didn't see it today. So you guys got 2 videos today. Yeah, I just posted a meditation, so you can go check that out if that's something that feels aligned to you. Updates, big updates I want to share with you guys. So the sacred sites have been coming up. If you don't know what sacred sites are, they're areas in the world that are chakras and they have lane waves in them, like kind of energy portals essentially in the earth. And I've been having very lucid experiences with these portals communicating with me. Some of them have been communicating with me for a while, and something I don't share here, but sometimes when I do a meditation with you guys or energy update, I work with the energies of these portals a lot. Like I read and then connect with their channel message from that specific area of the world, and it comes through in connection with the moon and where the moon is at that time. And it's like a full experience when I'm talking to you, even though you might not. Some of you do message me and say, Shika, I can see energetically what's happening when you channel. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Um, so yeah, I'm just reading your messages. Yes, I can relate. I grew up in the suburbs neighborhood, so went through it with loving all my hair, including my beautiful brown skin and curls. I did the big chop end of August for my 40th birthday. That's amazing. Yeah, no, I feel you. Same thing. Literally mirrored experience. So I feel you. And the big chop is so freeing. I'm so happy I did it as well. Um, yeah, so all these sacred sites. So, for example, Egypt is a sacred site. Stonehenge in England is a sacred site. Um, the floating city in Puno in Peru is a sacred site. Hawaii is a sacred site. Bali is a sacred site. Australia is a sacred site. So there's certain areas of the world that were gridded, coated with portals. Certain areas can activate specific chakras, and even some countries have all 7 chakras. So a little update with you guys. I've been revealing the pool to actually explore one of them. I've been so grateful to go to a lot of them, and they have brought me such deep healing, transmission, sharing, downloads, understanding of this life that we live in, and more, and also not understanding because the more you know, the more you don't know, right? I had this funny conversation I'll share with you guys in a bit that I feel like is worth sharing with you. So just remind me later about the more you know, you don't know if I forget. Um, yeah, it's crazy. So I'm so happy you said that, Ash, because a lot of people have been talking to me saying, Shika, oh my gosh, I've been also feeling called and pulled to these specific areas and I don't know why. And if you have a specific country or place, like let me know in the chat or in the replay where has been calling you. It could be in a dream, it could be just like a feeling and pulling. For me, it's literally like it feels like someone's pushing me towards what I'm seeing. And before it was just like I'm seeing it as a vision. Now I'm actually feeling my body move forward towards the vision portal. So it's becoming very potent. And for those of you who might not relate to the word seeing, you might sense it, you might feel it, you might hear it, there's so many senses that we have. Um, yes, Alyssa, go to Bali. Bali has changed so much, though. So much I could talk about these portals. If you have a chance, go to Bali. Um, such a beautiful place. Such a beautiful place. So many temples, so much ancient wisdom, so many guardians, and a lot of codes around water in that place that we have a lot to learn. So one such place is Colombia, surprisingly. Colombia is beautiful. Like it's insane. That portal, Santa Marta on the Caribbean coast is really such a portal there too. I've been lucky to go there a couple times. Um, so I've been feeling this push. I'm like, okay, what's the place? Makes so much sense, right? When I was a little kid, I actually used to have books on archaeology and a lot about Egypt. And that has been a book. Like I just like since I was a child, I was obsessed with Egyptian history. I'd read it. I would just like absorb into it. I knew everything about all of the gods and goddesses and the way they lived and everything. And I actually wanted to be an archaeologist at one point. Anyways, long story short, Throughout my journey of healing the past years, Egypt has been coming through to a point where I'm actually channeling light language from Egypt, from the specific place and different areas, to a point where I have guides from that space, not necessarily beings, light beings from that space. And there's this deep pull, but also this fear too, right? Because it's like a very deep energy that's beyond me, that's beyond the world. Really, it's funny. So long story short, I have decided in April I am going to Egypt. And I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it. If you guys have any tips, uh, if you've been to Egypt, how was it for you? What did you receive there? If you want to share that, that's something that you feel called to share. Um, but yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going in April. I'm hoping to do a full chakra pilgrimage with it. So if anyone wants to join me in Egypt, let me know. But yeah, I'm just going to be going deep into that. And I feel like I'll be all so charged because I would have just left the goddess retreat, which I'm doing in Portugal. So I'm going to leave there and do this. And I'm just so grateful to get to go to the sacred sides of the gods, the goddesses, the ancient wisdom of life and beyond. And they've already given me so much. I can't imagine what it's going to feel like being on the lands itself. Like, woo, the energy is going to be so potent. It's already testing me in the process of planning this whole trip, patience and expansion. So yeah, it's really big. Brazil for sure. Wow, that's exciting. It's my goal to go there one day. I know it has so much energy that yeah, it does. My comfort movie has been The Prince of Egypt. Yes, I watched that on repeat. Let me tell you, like on repeat. I was obsessed, obsessed, obsessed with it. Thank you so much for helping me with ignite my kundalini. Wow, that's amazing. Awesome, Jay. I'm sending you so much energy and healing to your integration. I just connected to that and I've been watching the movie on repeat. Yeah, I'm obsessed. Like anything around Egyptian, like history, the energy, the light language, like my body just, it just feels like for me, it comes to a life where I actually like dropped into through the pyramids, like not just me, a whole bunch of souls dropping and rising from the pyramids. I can remember it like it was yesterday. And us getting activated, rising up and like this light. And there were all these star families. And so yeah, I know this is gonna be like a really potent one. I'm so excited. I'm doing it now. It's so funny. Yeah, so if you are interested, email me. I'm gonna be picky with who comes because I'm going for full on like 10 days pilgrimage, all the sacred sites. That's my plan. Originally, I was going to do that. I was going to do Egypt, and then I was going to go to Tanzania, Kenya. There's one other place. I'm like, that's too much. I just want to do Egypt, and then I might do a small weekend to Stonehenge, which is the other sacred site that has been calling me, and I've been seeing a lot of just memories, visions from that place. So yeah, I'm so excited. I'm almost like, wow, it's gonna be insane. So if you guys have any tips about Egypt, maybe you've gone, maybe there's certain temples that charge you, maybe there's certain experiences you have, maybe recommendations of tour guides, like all that, like feel free to email me. I'm open. Egypt is calling us back home. Yeah, I do feel that very deeply. I really resonate with that. It's like so many people in the community have been going there the past year, and a lot of people have been just feeling this deep pull to go, and they don't know why. And I do think that Egypt is calling us for a reason. I've even had visions that this a lot of the sacred sites that are here in this earth plane right now that we need to protect them because um they are endangered, like very deeply endangered. It's already happening to a point where you're seeing it in Peru, you're seeing it in Stonehenge, where they're really preventing people from seeing these sacred sites and coming close to the sacred sites. And it's because of the activation that's happening. So it's just telling me now, Shika, you've got to go see them before you don't get to see them. And same thing with certain medicines too that are endangered. I'm getting a lot of channel messages of certain medicines that I've sat with or that I'm connecting with right now that are just endangered. And this is just bringing more into my mission of like everything I'm doing, whether it's teaching in the Earth Dharma students. I just got off the call with them and I'm just like, oh my God, you guys changed us so much. You're expanding, you're doing all the things. And it's so amazing to see that. Or like the retreats and everything. It's really to bring people back to remembering that community, that unity. It's so crucial. It's so crucial. And it's important for our humanity to just continue to be here. And I think that goes even more with the Leo full moon too, with the understanding of we need to stop attaching ourselves to the reality we always knew, because the reality is going to shift into a new frequency and there will be no comparing of what was. There's only going to be just what is. And that's what Spirit's been challenging me on in the past month of grieving this old version of the world. And it's so intense. But it's given me such wisdom to share, and I'm so grateful. I've been feeling urged to learn Spanish, not sure why, but currently learning it on Babbel. Amazing. Spanish is amazing. Portuguese, I'm biased, is great too. But then again, I feel like that's another place that I have a very deep reverence. I'm in the plant medicines I connect with, and I'm carriers are from these lands. So yeah, it makes sense that you would be connected to it. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions, by the way, guys. It's just like a chill, casual hangout, catch up, and all the things. I'm so pumped. I'm leaving to Costa Rica in a few days, and I'm going to be hosting the retreat. It's going to be a Kambo plant medicine retreat with Aya, and it's amazing. I'm so excited to be weaving with these amazing, potent goddesses and divine feminine that are holding this space. It's an 11-day container, and yeah, we're just so excited. So it starts the 1st of February till the 11th. And then I'm hoping to just catch up with friends there and just enjoy the Caribbean sunshine because I miss it. I just like, I don't like the cold. There's so much to learn in winter. I do understand the seasons teach us so much, but I'm just not a cold gal. I'm an island gal. So I don't like the cold as much as I've lived here all my life. I do not like it, but in my blood, I love my warmth. So, super excited for that. And then I come back here and then I prepare for the retreats in Portugal, guys, which is going to be insane. I'm so excited. The goddess retreat's over halfway full. So if anyone's interested in applying, you can go to the link. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be Kambo, plant medicine ceremony. We're going to be doing a yoni blessing ceremony, a full plant medicine bath. You guys are going to be surrounded by mountains, having amazing vegan Portuguese food, like breath work, somatic healing, energy healing, some time for one-on-one attention, like integration circle. Woo, there's so much that's going to be there. Womb activation, like deep, 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 deep. And then I have a break, and that's when I'm going to Egypt. So it's like, it's been brought to me that I have to go to Egypt right after that. It makes so much sense, right? After holding the container of the goddess retreat. And then I have a break. And then at the end of April, we have the ancestral retreat, which that is outer body. That is like insane. I think the craziest healing I've seen, actually, no, I can't say that, but the healing I've seen in the field of this world, there's been some crazy miracles that have happened of people revisiting injuries that they've had in their lifetime, not knowing it's an ancestral or karmic cord or reasoning why they had it, going to the ancestral retreat and being like, what in the world? Like, I can't believe I still have to heal this and clear this energy. And that it happened 4 generations before. Like, it's insane. I've had times where we've done like, what do you call it? Constellation therapy is one of my favorite, and I don't do it with every group. It's a very potent indigenous practice that I've been grateful to receive and share. And this is like when you literally go into a problem. So like think of one ancestral problem, like right off the bat, right? You are guided with the field and the unseen to literally get to the beginning of the thread of where this trauma happened and the storyline. And I've literally had people who've like shaken and like moved through so much. There's been times where people are like, I just need to sleep. Like one of the girls who went to the last one, like we did a break and she slept all the way till lunch because she was like, I'm so tired. So much moved through her. Like her face looked different. So much energy shifted. Um, it's crazy. I need to go to the ancestral retreat. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, Davina, if you go, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so deep. I just got full body. My arms got goosebumps. Yeah, it's still open. If you guys are interested, go check it out. It is super intense. Ash, I'm gonna answer that question in a sec. Yeah, it's going to be deep and it's connecting with not only your ancestral lineage but the ancestral lineage of the lands. So the lands are actually chosen. I don't choose where I do the retreats, just a heads up. Where I do initiations or anything, that's not chosen. It's the lands that invite me, and they also let me know there are certain things that I need to do in order to respect the lands and have that permission to hold people and to bring people there as visitors, because we are visitors. So yeah, it's just like this very deep space. And there's going to be a plant medicine ceremony. There's going to be campo. There's going to be all this deep healing. Um, and every person at that retreat, this is the mad part of the ancestral retreat, every person in the retreat represents an archetype of a family member in your family. So you're all mirroring each other. So your souls are literally creating this like contract to be in this retreat together to heal one another. So not only are you getting healing from the plant medicine, the breath work, the somatic work, the constellation therapy, there's a thing, all that. But then you also get healing from the people, right? And it can just bring so much, like, it's insane. The miracles I've seen just physically, people physically healing after plant medicine ceremonies, and also energetically and emotionally. Like I can actually see them. I always say the eyes are the entrance of the soul. So when I look at people, I can tell like you fully there or you not. And the shift that goes on is insane. So crazy. Yeah, you guys can apply down below. Applications for the ancestral retreat closes. Sorry. Yeah, so the goddess retreat, it closes February 15th, and the ancestral retreat March 15th, or until spots really fill up. Honestly, the goddess retreat will probably close earlier because there's a lot of spots being held. And then we have the divine Dharma retreat, which is filling up a lot too. It's a training program for souls who want to start to open up. They're getting that feeling to help the collective and really feel lost in that and want to come to the drum of their heart to understand and remember something deeper with the wisdom of the ancients of the land. So it's a very potent plant medicine, again, retreat and workshop. There's workshops on chakras, smudging, protecting energy, opening your gifts, so much stuff. So if you want more of a training experience with shadow work, you can look at that. Okay, let me answer some questions. Guys, put in the Q&A questions you have so I can chat. All that stuff's down below in the website. Ash says, how do you reconcile visiting somewhere like Hawaii when natives urge not to? I just don't go. That's how it is. I actually have a story about this. So I originally 3 years ago, I was going to host a retreat. It was actually a women's retreat in Hawaii. And the funny thing is, and this is something that actually natives have told me, is when people go to Hawaii, even people who decide to move, and I think this is with every place in the world, what I'm learning through these portals of the world. If you're not meant to be there, that land will push everything for you to get out of there because it doesn't want you to. Your soul's not meant to be there, right? There's a difference between resistance where your soul is supposed to learn things and when like the lands itself is like, no, you're not supposed to be there, right? So basically, I was planning out this retreat. I found this beautiful place and it was with the natives. And I also loved it too because the indigenous there do a sacred welcoming ceremony. So, what happens the first day we get there? Someone comes and blesses us, gives us permission from the guardians of the lands. And at the end of the retreat, they close it as well. And I really love that because for me, it was important for me to have that full permission and to weave the ancient wisdom back home. So, in the process of it, things were just not feeling right. Like I felt like almost like what I get from a lot of retreats is like I'm already so connected with the lands already. So I'm receiving healing in my own process before so I can hold people. It's like I said, you can't hold people if you haven't hold yourself, right? So I go through this process. And then at the end of it, I was like, I don't want to go to this place. And I was literally going to like press like share this retreat with community, like share it with you guys. And I had a choice. And I think this is something to share as a story, just as a lesson, where our ego can kind of like come in and cop in and think about, you know, the money and the gratification and oh, I want to help people, blah blah, all these ways that you say blah blah blah, all that BS, right? Deep in my heart though, because heart leads me with my work stuff. Like everything I've offered has been a heart thing. It's like a part of my essence and the earth's essence engraved into that, right? And at that point, I was like, nah, I can't do that. There was so much. Crazy thing is, shortly after, two things happened. About a year after this happened, after I originally, like 2 years, sorry, 2 years, and I was already seeing these things happening. I first had a vision of the volcano erupting. What happened? There was an eruption of the volcano. Crazy, right? Second thing I heard was at that time when I decided not to, the lands were saying, we need to get our land back. We were feeling so much anger and anguish with people not listening to the sacred lands. There's a disconnect with the indigenous and the people coming there. And I was like, okay, I hear you. And I respect that. I'm not going to come. I will just be here on the lands that I'm allowed to be and put prayers out. Right. The third thing happened was that fire that happened. Believe what you wish. For me personally, I feel like there was other things intervening and what was shown to me in 3 years ago. And in that process, I was like, whew, thank goodness I didn't go to it because I would have just added more fuel to the fire by going there. So one of my biggest advice I can give you is if you ever go to a land, always ask permission. Even though you think it's a beautiful place, it's a great deal, like you can go travel, blah, blah, blah. But one of my biggest things to educate people is like, do you have permission energetically by the lands? If you don't have permission by the lands, please respect it because the land itself has been there for decades, right? Like if Earth really wanted to kick us out, she'd just explode right now, right? There's a reason why she's giving us this motherly love to allow us to be here and learn. And what she's asking from us is to ask permission, just like if you have your home or your space, you don't just have anyone come into your energy, right? Like someone doesn't, you don't leave the door open and then your neighbors just come in the house. Hey, I'm just going to sit here and like put my rubbish here and like, hey, have my friends over and blah, blah, blah. Like when you start to respect the elements like people, and obviously I'm not perfect. I'm not sharing this saying that I'm perfect. But when you start to respect elements, the earth, nature like people, and that's my biggest thing. Like I can tell where I'm at based on how I take care of my plants in my house, for example, or like based on what the energy my plants are offering to me. That tells me a lot about myself, right? Nature is a mirror of ourselves. So the biggest mirror that nature is teaching us right now is that we are in greed. We take too much. And we think that we have this innate feeling that we are privileged to just like take, and we are not aware of our privilege towards the earth and the elements. And also to know that we're actually just a pinprick because look at how vast the elements are. So again, this is maybe a lot for some people who aren't, practicing those things. But again, this is something that's super crucial to be aware of, right? How can we, I'm burping because I'm releasing for people, but how can we just really tune in to understanding why are these things happening? Why am I feeling called? Why are you feeling called to these very deep portals around the world, like Egypt, Stonehenge, Peru, Costa Rica, Colombia, right? There's a reason, right? There's an offering there for you, but there's also a responsibility. And I think when we are more aware of our responsibility, we become more conscious in the world. And then we don't have to sit here scripting everything, thinking we're manifesting again in that privileged energy. I'm not saying that you can't manifest things. That's not what I'm trying to say. Of course, you're abundant, you're eternal. But it's also knowing the energy of the opposite. It's give and take, right? And it's like how much have you been taking from the earth itself, the elements, from nature, right? You take every day when you go to the grocery store. You take every day when we do all these things. But it's just the gratitude and awareness is really where you can start the journey of this appreciation to the elements. And I think that's what's missing in humanity right now, to a point where people are just like discrediting it. And they're like, let's just fix how we can keep in our privilege. And this is what brings artificial intelligence, right? And brings AI and like all these things because we just want a quick band-aid. But the answer is Earth's going to say like, nah, she's laughing. She's like, there's no quick band-aid to this. You created this, you did this. It's like if a child makes a mess with their toys, they pick it up, right? Right? There's like the picking up, but if it's the mothering and she's like mothering and she's helping and she's supporting, that's great. But eventually the kid goes out into the world, they'll just expect someone to pick up their toys all the time. They'll expect someone to clean after them all the time, right? So it's that nourishing and it's that awareness of responsibility, shifting our habits. And that comes from ancestral healing, that comes from shadow work, that comes from meditation, that comes from those little practices you can do every day that allow us to see how we can relate that and be a walking evolution of ourselves into this world, not only to people, but to energies and to the elements. Those things are the two things I'm seeing is missing. And that's why, personally, I've been going more into this world of the unseen because I'm getting so many downloads of that. And it's been great to share with you guys. I'm really happy you're receiving it. But it's also like, wow, there's like such a vastness of energy out there, right? And we have to be more aware. There's that responsibility. Just checking your messages for some reason. I can't see it because will you offer Akashic records or a dream interpretation for the public? Like as far as a meditation or a workshop, like I'm kind of curious as to that. By the way, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Questions in general, questions about topics, ideas. It's just a chill conversation with you guys. So let me know. Yeah, let me know, Davina, if you're talking about like Akashic records, dream interpretation. I would love to. I get really into it. I was lucky because I grew up with, since I was 4, reading about dream interpretation. Why? Because my mom had this mysterious indigenous book on her bookshelf that I found when I was a little kid. And I did everything I could to learn what these words meant and what my dreams were. So my little adventure was to take my little stuffy elephant, tippy toe downstairs, take this big book of book interpretations, that's the indigenous book interpretations, read through it and figure out what my dreams meant because something told me I had to do that at 4 years old. So, yeah, that's how I started the journey. And I know when I do retreats and people share, Shika had this dream. And I always tell people when they go to the retreats, healing spaces, when you're doing work, to be mindful of your dreams because your soul is doing work at sleep. And that's why sleep is so important. And to be aware, don't focus too much on the details, but focus on the context, the emotion, and the lesson that's there, right? And a lot of the times, especially when you're working plant medicine, they love to communicate with you through dreams. That's how you get the most benefit from understanding what your intention is, how it's evolving, where your healing is, all of that. Akashic Records is the library of the soul. So it's connected to, it's where you get past life information. It's where you get your soul information. It records everything in the being. So workshop or one-on-one with clients. I'd love to. That would be a great idea. If you guys were down for that, if you would love me to offer like Akashic records or dream interpretation support or any of that, let me know. Put a rainbow emoji and let me know if you prefer a workshop or one-on-one, and maybe I can bring that in because that is something I do more now. But I do it like through group experiences. Like someone will tell me, "See, you're talking to me. I'm an experience of your dream." And I'm like, "Oh, that's Akashic. Ooh, that's past life." Or you're telling me a past life and I'm like, "Ooh, this is like," and they're like, "And then I had this dream and da, 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 da," and I'm like kind of weaving and receiving all of that. So yeah, let me know. Even the replay, if guys can let me know, that would be great. That would help you out. If there's any other offerings, because I was sitting the other day and I was like, I have to be careful because I can't like swear, I guess, on social media here, censorship. But yeah, like I had this crazy experience where I was just like, man, like, Chica, you learned a lot of stuff. And that's just coming from a heart place. Like I don't notice how much until people ask me questions. If I don't know, I'll be like, I don't know, ask this person, right? Like I'll just be straight up with you. Um, But the other day I was like, wow, yeah, like Akashic records, like Reiki, for example, past life regression, plant medicine, herbal support, fertility support, energetic doula, like passing souls who've miscarried. Like I've done a lot. There's a lot of stuff that I've been grateful to learn from other people. And I always forget, wow, like you can. It's always a great reminder that you have everything in your toolbox to create what you want to create, right? So that's a great reminder. Thanks, Sabina. But yeah, one-on-one, that'd be really cool to offer. Any other questions you guys have? I'm trying to think if there's any other updates with you guys. Life updates. Yeah, so then the ancestral retreat, and then I come back here, Canada, so-called Canada, and then I go and I'm staying here for quite a bit, and I'm trying to tune in and see like what is created. I've been told to not create too much this year because there's so much that will be opening up, and I have a feeling it's going to start when I go to Costa Rica. So yeah, for now, the two retreats and the training are the best places to start with the in-person. Um, Oh, that's what I was going to tell you guys. So recently I had a question from someone, and I want to just like preface this because like I get this question sometimes, and I know people don't mean it. Like I know that sometimes the shadow is so sneaky, but I want to share it as a space to educate and to inform you, to support you. Does that make sense? So recently I had someone approach me, and they were asking me about the offerings that we have in the community, right? So the retreats, the one-on-ones, the trainings. They mentioned Earth Dharma, which by the way is closed. I don't know when I'm going to open it again. I don't know if I'll open it this year. I just feel into it, honestly. Um, so their wording of it and indirectly was like, what is the most advanced space holding space? And my body just went, advance. What is, because I've been doing this journey for a long time, and what place is best for me if I've been doing it so much and I want to help people and blah 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 blah. And sometimes when us ourselves have gone through so much, right, we can indirectly verbalize that we feel like, because I've done so much and I've healed so much, that I'm now complete, that I'm now significant, that I'm now in this space, right? And the idea is everyone is significant, even if they haven't been able to go through and process and heal their traumas, or that aunt that doesn't understand why you have crystals and goes and does meditation, right? Like every person is significant, no matter if they decide to take that forward to do the healing consciously or not. So my answer to that is that if you are someone that has seen something I've held space in, maybe a space holding or whatever, and or just not even me, anyone, you've seen something and you're like, well, I don't know if it's be good because it doesn't have this, this, and this. You have now put yourself into separation. You've now energetically tracked and like tapped your body to separate yourself from someone else. That is a conscious choice that you've created. And this was something that I had to learn in my closest relationships, because I had to learn that I was categorizing people as non-spiritual. That is egoistic of me to say so. Everyone is, right? Whether they're consciously aware of it or not. It's everyone is spiritual. Even the people who don't believe in anything are spiritual, really. So when you tune into that essence, you have to go into what part of you feels like you have to, one, know everything, all the answers. Sometimes it's a protecting mechanism of our shadows, so we don't go to those places again. Maybe it's a place of feeling secure and safe. Maybe it's a place of feeling loved, all of those things. And the second question to ask yourself is, where have I been divided, or where have other like people divided me or separated me from the masses, right? That's a deep third eye block. That's a huge third eye block, because third eye represents insight. So when someone asks me, Shika, where's the advanced place for me? And this is something, and I've been there too. I've been there. My question to you is, what is your intention? Not how long have you been doing this for? What is your experience? What is your criteria? I don't ask that. I ask you, where are you at in your journey? We tune in there. Because when we can lean into that, then we can say, okay, this is my intention. Because I have sometimes retreats, and if you want to categorize it this way, there's some people who've never done a retreat. There's some people who've done lots of retreats. There's some people who are space holders themselves. There are all walks of life. And every single person, whether it's in that group setting, in a breath work, whatever, they get what they need, right? Because you get an opportunity to push the envelope as much as you can, because that continues, right? And it's kind of humbling as well to be around people of all walks of life, to take yourself off of the pedestal because you felt at one point that you weren't on it and you were behind. And that shadow is so sneaky. Like, I get it. Like, again, it's happened to me as well. That awareness of not putting ourselves higher than other people with our words. And we're trained to do so. We're trained for comparison. We're trained for competition. It can be in your household. It's definitely in school. It's at work, right? There's levels, they say, right? There is levels, but the insanity is all the levels are mashed up in the same level. That's the crazy part. Even the dimensions, right? Like, I'm learning more and more. Dimension 13, 14, 20, da da da. Yeah, put words into it, but like, it's all molded in the one universe, right? So when we start to not complex, and like what my favorite quote, keep it simple. When you start to keep things simple in your life, your everything is answered properly for you, and everything in your life feels simple. Everything feels easy. Then our shadow gets a little sneaky and it's like, why is it easy? This feels too comfortable. This feels too safe. This feels too good. It's going to get bad. Why do we go there? It is what it is. If it gets bad, it gets bad. If it gets good, it gets good. But why are we programming ourselves for something that is not even there yet? And that's where we find ourselves subconsciously manifesting our emotions into self-sabotage, into feeling unworthy, into feeling insignificant, into feeling unloved, into all those energies, right? So I just want to preference that, and again, I'm sharing this with love because I get it. But just from this person approaching me, asking me questions about the offerings, I was just kind of like, oh, no, that sneaky shadow again. It's in there. It's coming out. That's okay, though. That's okay. But let me ask you this. What is your heart saying? What is your intention? Then we get into the gritty. Then we get into the emotions. Because I can tell you, no matter how many Aya ceremonies, how many Kambo that I've served myself and served many people, how many mushroom experiences, how many herbal experiences, how many times I've done an ascension, healing, awakening, whatever you want to call it, I can tell you right now that I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. We don't have all the answers. But what we do have is, as we go through life, there are certain areas of our life that are being called for us to focus on and heal. And when we can focus and heal on these areas of our life, we find answers within ourselves. But are you satisfied with that answer at that present moment? Or are you seeking for something that you feel is incomplete? Boom. That's a you thing. And we breathe into it, we take it in, we receive it, but it's definitely a you thing, right? Yesterday, what was it yesterday? I received a very deep truth. Of course, Leo full moon, right? And that truth brought me to my knees of crying, of surrendering, of like, what is truth of this specific area of my life? And this grand rising, I woke up feeling the uneasiness. A lot of the times we want to distract and we want to look at our phone, and Spirit wasn't letting me do none of that. But let me tell you, it made so much sense when it hit 3 o'clock today, because when I sat there, I said, wow, all the things that you made me process, all the tears, all the uncomfort, all the feelings and the aches and everything in my body, the words, the subconscious, whatever, was brought to me to this specific 3 answers that I was seeking for, but I didn't know how to ask for help. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's when things started to open. So again, just being aware, where are we separating ourselves? Because I told you guys in the 2024, and I'll share it more again here. If you haven't checked out the 2024 forecast prediction, go watch it. And even this next moon energy updates, go watch them. They're very telling of the future. And it's talking about the understanding that us needing to not separate. And let me tell you something, we're going to have some deep confrontational conversations with our guides this year. It's the year of abundance. Oh yeah, 8, we're loving it. But with that, we got to feel where we've been lacking that in ourselves first. That can bring a transmission and a growth that is so deep beyond anything our human has ever experienced, right? So if you push it even deeper into that medicine, not that it's not deep enough, like Davina said, that's deep, right? If we push it deeper, we understand that we're going to have conversation about race, religion, politics, history. Oh, there's Suri. History. We're going to have conversation on pain, suffering, struggle, separation within ourselves. And that's the biggest band-aid to rip off, because once that happens, that means every version of you that has separated or was told to separate to the unity of this world becomes dissolved. What's happening out in the world right now, all over Africa, out in the East, everywhere, actually, everywhere. Hawaii, we talked about that. It all comes down to that. We need to know what's gridded in ourselves to step into what we need to go into moving forward. That's amazing. Found this looking up mirror work videos. Hello. So yeah, I just want you to really breathe into that, because we came through a deep shadow period. We did. A lot of you have awakened. There's a lot more. Think of all the people in your circle who've awakened, and all the people who you notice that have awakened, and those that you haven't. Now triple that a few times. That's the amount of people that are about to awaken even more, right? Race is a big one for me. My ancestors have been bugging me, 100%. Ancestral retreat, right? You now have to look at the race that you have chosen. You chose that. You chose every experience, every prejudice, every separation. This is a hard pill to swallow, let me tell you. I'm not perfect at it either, and I'm still getting triggered on this. But understanding that you chose that, your soul chose that. That's the consciousness level that you're entering into. A lot of people will say, depending on different modalities and traditions, believe that, what you are this life, you were the opposite another life. So it's like you get to experience all parts to bring you closer to community and unity of this world, right? So for some of you, maybe you're coming back into this race to understand more. For some of you, you're coming into a new. Maybe for some of you, you've hurt that exact race that you are walking in right now. Maybe some past life is hitting you right now, right, as I'm receiving this. So race is really like an interesting one, because, oh, wow. When we move the letters of race, it brings us to almost erase, right? And if what I heard is that race is to erase our unity. The idea of race is to erase unity, unified. And the pain that comes with each race is to understand that some of us were meant to witness suffering to bring us more into empathy. And some of us are meant to experience suffering to let go and to be free. But when you do that for yourself, you do that for every single person, even the race that bothers you today. There's a reason why it bothers you. Want to talk about shadow work? Write down all the things you hate. Write down everything you dislike. And when you can write that down, you find the truth, Leo full moon, the truth, the honesty. This is what you got to look at. This is exactly what you got to love. This is exactly what you need to see. This is exactly what you need to understand. You've been running away from it for too long. You've been avoiding it for too long. You've been reacting the same way for too long. And now, like I said, moving forward, the future is not about seeing what we did before and how do we improve it. It's like, let's start anew. It's a new energy. So I'm sure there's other things that have triggered you guys in this lifetime based on your experiences. I trust that you'll receive what you need, what you need as a being. I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I'm just cleansing energy because that was a big one for some of you. I'm sure some tenderness will occur when it's needed. Any other questions? Yeah. You were built for a victim mentality. This society built for you to feel like a victim, to feel powerless when it's not true. But how do you shift that when a whole history is on the basis of saying that that group of people are powerless, that that group of people are this? By us as humans getting to the truth of it, by having conversations with the same people that we feel trigger us. You know, one of the things I've learned in a lot of tribes and indigenous and even my own culture is when something happens and an issue happens, we get everyone in the same room and we talk it out. We share our feelings, we express what is needed. And when we do that, something comes up. And we see where each person in that room felt unseen, unloved, and it's such a depth. And I'm not saying we're going to get there today, guys. We're not. It's going to take generations of continuous education. But when you can get a group of people together, for example, I had someone last year, one of you beautiful souls, messaged me and said, Shika, I looked at my ancestral history and I just found out that my family was, a slave trade owner. And, they experienced, they had a plantation. It's, nowadays it's a place of history, but they had a plantation. And, it's goes way back in time. And I don't want to go to the retreat to trigger people. So I feel like I need to be in a different experience, separating myself. Why are you separating yourself from the issue? This is the confrontational conversation. 100% there will be people that are on the other side of that edge that are connected to the same ancestors that your family has, enslaved. But when we separate people and heal, we're creating segregation from the issue. We're creating bypassing from the issue. How we get better is to come together and to put in the space of forgiveness, love, understanding, awareness, presence. That's how we heal. I actually invited her. I said, you should come. I think a lot of what came up for her was a lot, and she wasn't ready to hold that. But this is what I'm talking about, the depth of healing we have to come. What's happening today happened again and again 400 plus years ago. The only difference is now we've chosen a different race to feel separate from another, but it's the same situation. So we either learn and experience, we have no choice moving forward. The light beings are here, the frequencies are here, they're ready and they're not holding back. And for those who are ready to continue, fasten your seatbelts and make sure you know the exits, blah, 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 whatever they say on the plane. We're about to go on a spaceship today. So that's the depth we're going into. It's another level of awareness, Chica, coming into life. Ooh, buzzing. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you. Thanks, Gail, for sharing that, and Davina. Let's do a little check-in. How's everyone doing? Does everyone have their seatbelts on? They've checked all exits. Are you ready to lift off? For those of you ready, you're going to lift off. For those of you kicking and screaming, well, you will continue to be with the old ways. And the old ways means not this lifetime for some of us. We're going to see a lot of loved ones that will not continue their experience because they chose to. That's okay. There's no problem with that. And maybe some of us are already getting premonitions of who they are and who's around us that will not be continuing that journey. And that is needed um, for them and for us. And it's very depth. It's very deep, deep, deep depths of ourselves. Yeah. What else can I share? Any other questions? This was a good question. This went through a deep tangent. I have room for one more question before I close the chat on a topic or awareness or healing or anything personal question. I'm open to. I'm open to receive. So let me know. What is it? Yeah, so if you guys are interested while I'm waiting for the next question, Q&A. Yeah, all offerings down below, one-on-ones, healings, retreats. Talked a lot about deep stuff, ancestral retreat, goddess retreats, all down below, trainings, divine dharma retreat training. Go check it out. Okay. So I think that's it. I'm going to just check with my guys. I don't think there's anything else I need to share with you guys. This was fun. Again, if anyone wants to go to Egypt in April, let me know. Email me. I'll be there for about 10 days looking at all the sacred sites, as well as planning to go to Stonehenge. So that will be really exciting to go and to tap into. It's going to be such deep, deep medicine to receive there. I know. I can feel it. And I'm excited to go to Costa Rica soon. It's going to be really potent. So I hope you guys have a beautiful Leo full moon. Take care of yourself, your well-being. Tune into what you have to release. Let the tears flow. Let the anger release. Let the fire ignite. Do what you got to do. Take care of yourself. Listen, receive, check your dreams, and check out the energy update videos. They're all there for you. Okay. I love each and every single one of you. I'm excited to see you wherever that time is, whatever space that is. Lots of big things coming for all of us. And yeah, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, all the things. And if you're new here, it's nice to have a live with you or a replay with you. So I love you so much. Bye.